you know, lots of activities. And Eastleigh also happens to serve both Muslims and non-Muslims alike. And if you look at the population of the people living in Eastleigh as well as the traders, you find that majority of them are Muslims. So what is the role and, for that matter, the impact of Islam in the business growth that we are seeing in Eastleigh?
The main aspect of that would be trust, because I think as a Muslim, the trust is very important aspect of somebody's life, and that I think most people adhere to that principle, that you can be trusted with your service, with your products, with telling the truth, and basically being very friendly to your customers. So that plays a very important role. And also not only just that trust, but also protection of your visitors. Yes, you have to protect their interests, you have to protect their life and their property. When they are with you, then it is upon you to uphold that aspect of Islam, that first of all you have to protect your guests.
Absolutely.
And also be honest with them when you're trading. That also plays a very important role.
Absolutely. And Mheshimiwa, you've mentioned something that's very, very important. That is not just the security, you know, and that is there for your business, for the goods and services you're selling, but also for the visitors who are coming in. Because, I mean, I don't want to go into a place to buy some products and, you know, what is the importance if I'll go there and probably not leave with my phone?
Yeah,
absolutely makes a lot of sense. Now, looking at the security issues, in 2021, we've faced a number of issues in Eastleigh, a number of security issues. Going back some 2-3 months ago, we saw cases of abductions, particularly of young girls and women in Eastleigh area. So since that happened, we saw, of course, a move by the security apparatus to try and, you know, control issues there, as well as, you know, previously we've also seen some gangs operating in Eastleigh. So from where you sit, Mheshimiwa, where are we now in as far as security is concerned? Has there been a change?
There has been a very big change. And from 2014, you remember those terrorist attacks that are rightly or wrongly some were attributed to Eastleigh. From there, we also had problem of gangs. We had magas and thieves. And so the security issue became one of the key #1 issue in Eastleigh. And that I think we have achieved very well, together with working with the security agencies, the police, and other agencies. They have been very helpful. They have been working with us, and we've had quite many meetings where we, together with them, where we agreed on issues, and they were very forthright and calming, and they really helped stabilize the situation. And also we increased the number of police stations, from one which was only in Pangani and the other one in Shaurimoyo. Now we can boast of additions, Eastleigh North Station, California Station, Eastleigh Air Base Station. I am not sure about Eastleigh South. I probably think there is probably one there as well. So we increased the number of stations from 2 to about up to 5 or 6, and that has really helped stabilize the situation in the area, where the people feel safe any time of the day or night, and go about their business.
And Mheshimiwa, you know, as a young person, we've had a lot of cases, you know, to do with extrajudicial killings. And so when you've mentioned that, you know, security has improved, which is an excellent thing, and, you know, we must commend the work done by the government, you know, setting up more police stations and police posts, which is very, very important. Now, just to ask, is the fact that security has become better, the security situation in Eastleigh, has it become better because of, you know, the fear that we've been seeing of extrajudicial killings where people are not taken through the right process of the law, rather extrajudicial killings tend to happen?
Extrajudicial killings, there are two aspects to it.
Yeah.
One mainly targets people who are suspected to be maybe terrorists. And then the other one is the thugs, especially crossing over from the areas of Mathare and those sides.
Yeah.
So I think we need to separate those two.
Yeah.
One of the first things when we were meeting the police was to, instead of a blanket, you know, the enforcement of the law,
Yeah.
should be based on investigations,
Yeah.
and intelligence.
Absolutely.
And that really quite helped.
Yeah.
So when somebody is taken or plugged off, there must be something that is linking them to any activity that is illegal.
Yeah, but then it's still important that they are taken through the process of the law, because that's the reason why.
Law.
Yeah, we have the law.
That one is not limited. That is not limited to Eastleigh.
Yeah.
I think that's a countrywide problem.
Exactly.
Especially in the northern and coastal regions.
Yeah.
So, which is we condemn, and we don't agree with that kind of circumventing the rule of law,
Yeah.
to enforce the law, which is, I think, doesn't help. It actually defeats the purpose.
Absolutely.
So we don't agree with it.
Yeah.
And of late, we haven't heard of many cases.
Yeah.
Just quite a few, far and wide. We haven't, of late, we haven't, I haven't get any reports.
Yeah.
Of that kind of abductions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mheshimiwa, you know, talking about security, must have been last month in November of 2021, we saw the senator of Kiambu County, Honorable Kimani Wamatangi, in a TV interview. He mentioned that, you know, you can easily go to Eastleigh and buy a gun for 1,000 shillings. And after that, we saw a rally in Eastleigh where we had, you know, the Hassan Joho, who's the governor of Mombasa County. We also had Fatuma Gedi of Wajir. We also had Abdul Haji of Garissa. And last but not least, Yusuf Hassan, who is the area MP of Kamkunji. Yeah. And they came out against the statements of Honorable Kimani Wamatangi of Kiambu County. Now, just to ask, Mheshimiwa, when you look at such kind of sentiments, what impact do they have on the perception and the business environment of Eastleigh? And secondly, what really inspires such kind of sentiments? Where do they come from?
It's not a very good sentiment. But if you see the streets of Eastleigh, yeah, most people ignore those kind of statements, yeah, because they know that it is false. I would challenge Mheshimiwa Wamatangi.
Yeah.
Maybe today I want to go out and buy a gun. Maybe he can take me to the place he knows that where they sell guns, and to prove that what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
So, but it is a lie. It's a fabrication. And maybe it is based on the fact that maybe a lot of the businesses that would have been happening in Kiambu, people going to Kiambu has gone to Eastleigh, and people are now coming to Eastleigh. Maybe that was the motivation. I don't know.
So it might be some mere jealousy.
Probably, yeah. That's what I would attribute.
Okay, thank you so much. We've come to our first half. We'll be taking a break. Coming back, we'll be discussing about the issue of cleanliness in Eastleigh, the sanity in Eastleigh, as well as what Honorable Osman has done for Eastleigh. This is his second term. We'll be taking stock at that in as far as the business environment is concerned. Thank you so much for staying with us. Make sure you follow us, comment, share your thoughts with us on our social media handles at HorizonTV Kenya, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Don't touch the dial.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation. Verse of the day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون.
Kwa majina naitwa Onyango Touch, nawakilisha Peace Mission Volunteers hapa Nairobi.
Kwa majina naitwa Hezron Mwaluga, waziri wa ugatuzi, bunge la wananchi Kenya.
Huruma si utumwa, na tukiangalia vile ndugu zetu wanaumia katika sehemu za ukame humu nchini, inatupiga na butwa.
Lengo langu kuu nikiwa nimesimama hapa ni kuhusu janga la njaa linaloendelea katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Ndiposa tukasema tuhamasishe wananchi, haswa wale walio na uwezo, wakumbuke wale hawana uwezo kwa wakati huu kwa chakula.
Ningeomba wa Kenya, hasa wa Nairobi, usaidizi wenu.
Tunaona kwamba hapa Nairobi ni hakika tunashiba. Kumbuka kwamba sehemu nyingine kuna wale ambao hawana uwezo kwa wakati huu kulingana na ukame.
Na si usaidizi peke yake, ila pia tuandamane nasi hadi tuhakikishe chakula imewafikia wenye wameathiriwa.
Ni vyema tuwakumbuke, ndio maana tukasema tufikie wananchi, tuwakumbushe kwamba huruma ni kitu na ni jambo muhimu. Tunawasihi popote pale mlipo, tafadhali endeleeni kukumbuka wale ambao hawana uwezo kama Wajia, Masabit, Isiolo, Samburu na sehemu za ukame humu nchini.
Asanteni, na Kenya mtakachotupa tuahidi kitafika na tuarudishia ujumbe.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to part 2 of our conversation. Today we are talking about Eastleigh business. We are taking stock of the successes and some of the challenges that the traders and people living in Eastleigh are facing today. I'm your host Abdulhakeem Kigen, and helping me to dissect this topic is Honorable Osman, who happens to be the member of County Assembly for Eastleigh North. Once again, so Mheshimiwa, before the break we were talking a bit about politicians, you know, and the business environment in Eastleigh. And now we saw that in August, towards the close of August, the Eastleigh business community went to see the former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, and they discussed various issues to do with business environment, to look at how, you know, business can be better in Eastleigh for the people living in Eastleigh, and of course for the traders and buyers and sellers. Now, Mheshimiwa, politics and business and the economy, so to speak, is largely inseparable. It goes hand in hand.
Yes.
And first of all, our viewers would want to know if you are part of the delegation that went to see the former Prime Minister, and So were you part of the delegation?
No, I was not part of the delegation.
Ah, okay.
That was purely Eastleigh Business
community
affair,
Okay.
which is an independent organization.
Yeah.
And they invite whoever they like and leave out whoever they like.
Yeah.
So that was that was their show.
Yeah.
I was not a part of that delegation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mheshimiwa, now looking at political leaders and business, and you know the importance of goodwill, you know, in doing business, and not just the goodwill that people pay for rent spaces, but the political goodwill. Now, Mheshimiwa, how important is it for the business community to, you know, take stock and to talk to leaders, political leaders, and try to streamline issues and probably align themselves politically, so to speak? How important are such forums?
Very, very important. I would say currently that we have a very good working relationship with the Eastleigh business community.
Yeah.
Which is represented by a group, an organization called EBDA, which is Eastleigh Business District Association, which has an organization, a chair, vice chair, and all the other officials.
Yeah.
And we have a very good working relationship with them.
Okay.
We consult always.
Yeah.
When they need our offices, we support them.
Yeah.
And when we need their office, they do support us.
Yeah.
So we work together for the interest and betterment of Eastleigh. So it's very important on that issue. And politically, currently we are still at work.
Yeah.
So we don't do a lot of politics.
Absolutely.
The people who want to do politics are probably maybe the new aspirants who want to come into the field.
Yeah.
But we as office holders currently, we just concentrate on working currently, because the electioneering period hasn't started.
Yeah.
So we concentrate on work and not politics.
Yeah. So for the people living and working in Eastleigh, they're very interested to know some of the issues and some of the ways that your office has helped, you know, the business community that you've mentioned, the organization that you work hand in hand with. So if you could just give us, you know, a few scenarios of how, you know, your office has really come through for the business community in Eastleigh.
Obviously they have concerns.
Yeah.
So they will share the concerns with us.
Yes.
And then we forward it to the relevant authorities.
Yeah.
If it is an issue of roads, if it is water, sewer, essentially the services the government is supposed to provide.
Yeah.
And so we share those concerns all the time.
Yes.
And I think it has borne a very good fruit. You find that if you go to Eastleigh now, either the roads have been done or constructed, or they are ongoing currently under construction. So there is a very great improvement on the issue of infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that we have been working together with the Eastleigh business community.
Yes.
There was an issue of the visit to the former Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And a team was formed.
Yeah.
From the Eastleigh business community.
Yes.
And members of the county government and NMS.
Yes.
Which they called RRI, which is Rapid Response Initiative, headed by my friend from Environment Department, Mario Kayinga.
Yes.
And he's been doing a good job.
Yes.
So even yesterday they were sitting, I passed by Eastleigh, they were having their meetings.
Yes.
Weekly meetings every Thursday.
Yeah.
Where they have come up with a plan and a blueprint.
Yes.
To handle issues to do with garbage, to do with availability of water.
Yes.
And the roads and all the other services that the government is supposed to provide to the citizens.
Yes.
So it's ongoing, and and I can see that they are making some progress.
Yes.
And we really do support. Yeah.
Excellent. You know, Mheshimiwa, progress is quite relative.
Yeah.
And you've talked about garbage, and the services that, you know, the government is supposed to provide for the people of Eastleigh. And if you look at the garbage issue, it's appalling. When you go to Eastleigh, you cannot miss to see garbage, you know, along the roadsides, and it's really not it's an eyesore, to say the least. And Mheshimiwa, not once you have on your Twitter handle at Honorable Osman Ado, you have highlighted the issue of garbage. And if I am a business owner, if I'm one of the traders, let's say sitting at Yare Mall or Mega Shopping Center, and I am paying levies and taxes to both the national and the county government, and there is rubbish and garbage outside the mall, I'm asking myself, where is my money going? Am I getting value for the taxes and levies that I am paying? So, you know, this is a big issue. Mheshimiwa, how is this, how is the county government and your office addressing the issue of garbage? Is there light at the end of the tunnel?
There is light at the end of the tunnel. In the first assembly, during Governor Kidera's time,
that is 2013 to 2017.
We remember we stopped paying taxes. We gave an ultimatum that unless something is done, then we will stop remittances to the county government. And that produced a very quick reaction, which cleared the garbages that was basically on those rails and between the road, by the road and other places. And there was a plan which was called kind of a pilot project, which was to start in Eastleigh. But then after the next the election of 2017, a new governor came in, and then that issue died away. And we went back again to square one. And so we have been fighting a lot since then. Personally, I have issued statements in the House. We have done the motions. We have streamlined even the Environment Act and lots of other issues. But I think the department that is failing us mainly is the enforcement. The enforcement department is failing because everybody is talking about culture change. We need culture change. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I keep telling them that there cannot be a culture change without enforcement.
Absolutely.
When you are driving in one of the North American cities at 2 a.m. with no other cars and the street light, the light is red, you stop.
You stop.
And it's not because I want to stop, but I'm forced to stop. So there has to be, for there to be a culture change, there has to be enforcement.
Absolutely.
And that is where we are failing in the issue of the garbage collection. There is a department that is called what is it called? I kind of forgotten their name. That is responsible for ensuring that that enforcement of dumping. Actually, they are called anti-dumping unit.
So they are supposed to go for these people.
They are supposed to go for these people who are dumping the garbage and arresting and taking them to court. And that is where we are failing.
So they are sleeping on their job.
They are not only sleeping on their job, but they are part of the problem.
Absolutely. And Mheshimiwa, what I'm getting from you is that there is a lot of talk about garbage, but there is little action. So people are not walking the talk. Mheshimiwa, is it high time that we go back to the scenario you've mentioned in the first term, you know, when Evans Kidero was the governor of Nairobi, where the people of Eastleigh, the traders in Eastleigh, put a stop to paying taxes and levies until the garbage issue is sorted back, so that we get these people to walk the talk? Is it high time for us to do that?
It is high time for us to do that, but we are waiting for that rapid response initiative that I talked about, we are waiting for the outcome of that process.
Yes.
When they have come up with their blueprint on how to handle this issue,
Yeah.
and what they're going to do about it. So once we come up to the end of that road,
Yes.
and we see that there is no action, then we will take that appropriate, move to that level at that time. And I think the people are totally fed up, and they are ready.
They are tired.
They are tired. And yes, we have talked, and there has to be an end to that talk.
Absolutely.
And we are waiting for that task force that has been formed to handle that issue. So in the next 1 or 2 months, I think there should be a change. We are expecting change to come.
It's good that you've mentioned 1 to 2 months, because I was fearing that you'd probably say a term that's longer than 7 months, which is the term that is left for you in office.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa, moving along, a problem that we've been having in Eastleigh is the issue of hawkers versus shop owners.
Yes.
And I remember back in 2016, there was a standoff. It went haywire. We even had the police coming in and shooting tear gas, you know, and business was not going on. You know, people were fighting.
Yes.
Hawkers versus shop owners.
Yeah.
Because the argument has been that for the shop owners, they don't want the hawkers outside their shops because they stand as competition. And, you know, at the end of the day, for someone who owns a shop, they are paying taxes and levies. You know, they are paying for the rent, they're paying for shared services, but the person who's outside is not paying for these things, okay? So them, they're just selling.
Yeah.
And so that gives them an advantage, so they might even, they undercut people who are selling at the shops. Now, Mheshimiwa, looking at the hawkers issue, this is actually, there has been a whole issue of the spaces that were allocated for hawkers to sell their products in Eastleigh has actually been grabbed, and you know there has been a whole issue of people going to court to try and recover the land, and the county government, you know, has been mixed up in all that scenario. So Mheshimiwa, what do you think is the way forward? Because as it stands today, in December 2021, it's not peace, it's just, people are just calm, okay? So this issue has not gone away. So Mheshimiwa, what is it that we need to do to address this issue and get to the bottom of it?
First of all, that issue of hawkers' land is a myth. It's not the truth. It's not a reality.
Yes.
That land, that piece of land was not for hawkers.
Yes.
There were genuine traders who occupied that space.
Yes.
About 400 shops,
Yes.
mostly selling food products.
Uh-huh.
Cereals and other material and other issues.
Yes.
So it was not a hawking market. That's a myth.
Okay.
It's not a true picture.
Yes.
And that is still a matter that is in court.
Yeah.
For a very long time. Now it's, even before I became an MCA. So it is still ongoing.
Yes.
And we'll see at the end what happened, what the courts will decide.
Yes.
So that's a myth. It was not a hawkers market. It was traders, just like any other mall.
Yes.
Shops, people who are in those shops who are selling their products, mainly food products.
So that piece of land was owned by the traders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was not a hawkers market.
Thank you so much for those sentiments.
Yes.
We'll be coming back to discuss a little bit more on the issue of hawkers.
Yes.
We'll also be discussing about...
So the hawkers issue
Yes.
has been a thorny one, of course.
Absolutely.
And
We'll discuss that after the break. Just let us go to a break. We'll be discussing that, as well as the NMS issue, as well as vaccination. We remember that Eastleigh, last year in 2020, Eastleigh was put under, it was made sort of autonomous, where you could not enter or go out of a section of Eastleigh. And so we'll be talking about that when we come after the break. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Remember, you can send your comments and your questions to @HorizonTV Kenya on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't touch the dial.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Kwa niaba ya mashirika ya Kiislamu tunawaombeni nyote kwa dhati tuweze kujitokeza na kusaidia wenzetu ambao wamejikuta katika hali ngumu kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa mvua.
Kwa sasa takriban watu milioni 2.1 wanakumbwa na uhaba wa chakula, kwa hivyo wanakuwa ni wenye kutafuta mbinu mwafaka ili kuweza kujikimu kimaisha. Maelfu ya mifugo wafa sehemu mbalimbali nchini kwa ajili ya ukosefu wa maji na malisho.
Ili tuweze kuwafikishia kwa pamoja chakula na maji, hasa wale ambao wameathirika kwa kiasi kikubwa.
Tuje pamoja ili tuwasaidie umma wasiojiweza na wale ambao wamepatikana na musiba kwa ajili ya janga ya kukosa mvua. Asema Bwana Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, man nafasa an mu'minin kurbatan min kurabi dunya nafasa Allahu anhu kurbatan min kurabi yawm al-qiyamah. Yeyote ambaye atakayemwondeshea dhiki ndugu yake miongoni mwa dhiki ya kidunia, naye Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala atamlipa amwondoshee miongoni mwa dhiki ya siku ya kiyama. Labda kheri utakayofanyia ndugu zetu katika wakati kama huu wa shida, ukafanya bidii ukaondoshea dhiki kwa yale ambayo Mwenyezi Mungu alikupatia, itakuwa chanzo naye Mwenyezi Mungu akulipe akuondoshee miongoni mwa dhiki ya siku ya kiyama. Ahsantum, jazakumullah khair.
La kutafakari.
Mliotupa wazazi wenu, mliowadhalilisha mama zenu, wengine mkawashtaki mama zenu mkawapeleka paka mkotini. Mtu yamshtaki baba yake mzazi, mama yake yumpeleka kotini. Mliowatupa mama zenu waliowazaa, wakawalea, wakawakuza, wakafanya juhudi zao zote, hawalali usiku, wakesha mchana wa kutazama kwa kile walicho nacho. Baadhi yao wakauza wanavyovimiliki kwa ajili ya kukusomesha wewe, mpaka ukawa mkubwa, una miaka 40 na kuendelea, ukaona hakuna kiumbe dhalili duniani isipokuwa wazazi wako, ukawatoa machozi. ittaqu yawman turja'una fihi ila Allah, ittaqu yawman turja'una fihi ila Allah, yogopeni hiyo siku mtakaporudi kwa Allah azza wa jalla.
La kutafakari. La kutafakari.
يوم يفر المرء من أخيه وأمه وأبيه وصاحبته وبنيه لكل امرئ يومئذ شأن يغنيه. hiyo ndio siku yenyewe. Wangapi waliofiliwa na wazazi wao hapa watamani kama hawakufa, watamani kuwaona? Wallahi utamuona, utamkimbia. Utamkimbia baba yako uliyomkosa. Kuna wengine hapo walizaliwa baba zao wamekufa, atamani amuone. Wallahi utamuona na utamkimbia. Utamkimbia mama yako, mke wako, watoto wako. Sababu ya hiyo siku ni nzito, kila mmoja analomtosha. Allah, watu wote wamlilia Allah azza wa jalla.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our third and final part of Real Talk Show. Today we are talking about the business environment in Eastleigh. I'm your host Abdulhakeem Kigen, and to help me dissect this topic is Honorable Osman, who happens to be the member of County Assembly for Eastleigh North Ward. So, Mheshimiwa, before we went on the break, you were sharing your thoughts about the hawkers versus shop owners issue. Please expound for us.
Okay. First of all, hawkers are integral part of the Eastleigh community.
Yes.
But the problem has been that we were overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The whole of Nairobi and even parts of neighboring counties
Yes.
decided that they all want to come to one specific street, which was a problem.
It's not sustainable.
Which was not attainable.
Yeah.
And then a definition of a hawker to me is someone who is carrying his goods, walking around selling.
Yeah.
But when you put up a table and put up your wares in front of a shop,
Yeah.
then it becomes a shop in front of a shop.
Yeah, that's an
which,
intrusion.
which is illegal.
Yeah.
So I look at it mainly from legal aspects of what does the law say.
Yes.
And that is when it became like unbearable.
Yeah.
That is when now the Eastleigh business community went to the government.
Yes.
And said that we also close our shops and we've also come and put our wares also on the street.
Yeah.
Let's all do the same thing, and we stop paying rent and levies, because I'm paying levies, and those people have advantage.
Yeah.
And that is when the issue of tear gas and runnings came in, because the government said that you cannot have a shop in front of another shop.
Yes.
And that was so there was a kind of became a kind of an understanding.
Yes.
Between hawkers and the shop owners.
Yeah.
And they said that they have agreed that First Avenue, or now the currently use of Haji Avenue,
Yes.
which it houses most of the malls,
Yeah.
that hawkers stay away from that street and use the side streets and like the Second Avenue and other places. And so that has brought about a little bit of peace.
Yeah.
And the county government officials have been helpful on that, I think, in enforcing, to make sure that on First Avenue is hawkers free. But even though if you go right now, especially during this Christmas season, you will find that they are on there, and there is a little bit of pull and push from between the county askaris and the hawkers. So we tried at least our job is mediation. Is to try and to mediate. So that the conflict reduces. So we kind of agreed that even on First Avenue, that from certain time, they can still come and set their wares and sell.
Mheshimiwa, so just quickly, as looking at the whole Nairobi County, Mheshimiwa, if you look at the hawkers issue, it's not just an issue in Eastleigh, it's also an issue in the Nairobi CBD. From where you sit as a member of County Assembly, what do you think is the ultimate solution, if there is one, for the hawkers issue all across Nairobi and also stretching to the major cities in Kenya?
Ultimate solution is to build markets. In probably in every ward, or at least in every sub-county, that there should be markets to accommodate all the traders. That's the ultimate, I think that would be the very good solution. But still, you will find people are not that very much law abiding. So even when you provide that, they will still want to go to where they think they will make.
That's where enforcement should come in.
Yes, that's where enforcement should come in.
Excellent.
And so that is, we did lots of blueprints and decisions in County Assembly, passing those motions and laws to have markets and coming all in every part of the city. I think, but it's ongoing, but it hasn't materialized to the fullest as we would have liked, or as quickly as we would have liked.
So, Mheshimiwa, thank you so much for that. And if we move on, as I mentioned before we went on a break, that last year there was a cessation of movement that was put on Eastleigh, going in and out of Eastleigh. And Mheshimiwa, how did that affect business in Eastleigh at that time? You know, just paint a picture for us. And even as you answer that for us, Mheshimiwa, today we've seen that, you know, the positivity rate has gone up in Kenya, you know, with the Omicron variants being reported in neighboring countries. Mheshimiwa, how is the vaccine drive in Eastleigh?
Vaccine drive is not an issue of Eastleigh. It's a countrywide issue.
But for you as representing Eastleigh, how is it faring on?
I don't have the data on that. But I think people have realized that it's very important to vaccinate. And so any chance people get, they do vaccinate. At least to protect yourself, so that you can protect your family and your neighbor and everybody else. So stick to the protocols of the Ministry of Health to reduce the infections.
Absolutely. And Mheshimiwa, you know, when we look at economies that, you know, have grown and are developed, we see a lot of manufacturing. And so, Mheshimiwa, we've seen a lot of growth in Eastleigh over the previous years. You know, trade has increased, volumes of business. Now, Mheshimiwa, when will we see, or are we on course to see that Eastleigh does not just import and sell products, but also make some of the products that it sells, so that we go up the value chain and create more value for this country? Are we on course doing that?
I think that's a countrywide problem. We are not competitive in terms of production because of high costs, especially of electricity. And that makes us not be able to compete where the energy is cheap and labor is cheap. I think we have a good workforce in Kenya. We're ready to work. We're very knowledgeable. But the cost of production is still very high. And that is why I think people import. Once that issue, I think, is addressed, of cost of production, then I'm sure you will find a few factories coming up in Eastleigh.
Absolutely. We would definitely love to see that because of job creation. You know, our unemployment rate is not looking very, very attractive. Mheshimiwa, as we wind up, this is your second term as member of County Assembly for Eastleigh North. Mheshimiwa, for me to continue enjoying sweet tea in Eastleigh as I do, I definitely have to ask you this. So please pinpoint for our viewers, you know, just a number of issues, 1 to 3 issues that you have really focused, and you can say that these are some of the things that you've went ahead and done them for the people of Eastleigh in as far as business environment is concerned. And even as you answer that, Mheshimiwa, this being your second and final term, are we going to, your name, will we be seeing it in the green ballot paper, the yellow one, the blue, or even the white one for the presidential election?
I think you have wrong information.
Yes.
There is nothing like second and final term.
Yeah.
Second and final term only applies to governors,
Yes.
and the president.
Yes.
For all other seats, you can
go
until death do us apart.
So for you, you are also
So
looking to for a third term?
Currently, that's my plan.
Yes.
To look for a third term to finish the few things that are left.
Yes.
I want to be able to say that you know, I have enabled the people of Eastleigh to operate peacefully and without any, you know, outside interference. Whether whoever comes in after, that whether the 20 years from now another MP or another MCA comes, that the people of Eastleigh are knowledgeable enough and they know how to protect themselves and fight for their rights. That is my ultimate goal.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yes, Mheshimiwa, so going back to the question before that, you know, what are some of the things that you can pinpoint that you can say that are your flagship, you know, that you've addressed and done for the people of Eastleigh in as far as business is concerned?
Conducive business requires stability and security. And I think we have provided that together with the help of the MP.
Yes.
And that was the first thing that I think the first challenge when I started in 2013. That was my first challenge, or the biggest challenge, because I'd seen lots of things which I never thought was going on.
Yes.
Especially from law enforcement agencies, whether it was at the county level or at the national level. A lot of malpractices and other security issues in general, and that was a big challenge which I think we overcame.
Yes.
So that's the first part for any business to thrive.
Security.
It requires security and stability.
Absolutely.
And that has created the confidence in people to come and do business in Eastleigh. The second part is infrastructure, which I touched on earlier, which I think, as I said, if anybody visiting now Eastleigh will see the difference.
Yes.
Well, that was there before and currently how it is. Most of the roads have already been done, and some are still right now as we speak in Eastleigh. The NMS, and I would say thank you to the Director General, General Mohammed Abdallah Badi.
Yes.
He has been very helpful. He has been really supportive, and that is why we have been able to achieve right now the biggest problem of roads in Eastleigh.
Yes.
Is the place called the Jam Street.
Yeah.
That is the local name of the street. But the actual name of it previously, I think from colonial time, it was called Wood Street, changed to Kipande Atman.
Yes.
That is the official name, but it's called Jam Street.
Because of traffic.
Because of traffic. And now the contractor is on site.
Yes.
Who is going to be starting soon to construct that road.
Yeah.
So that has been an ISO. That was the main ISO. That's anybody who usually reports on garbage or bad streets.
Yeah.
Always took picture of that particular street. So now I'm happy to tell the people of Eastleigh that the construction is starting soon on that road.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And Mheshimiwa, just a quick take. When you take progress, you take stock at the progress from the county government. When you see the work that NMS is doing, the work that the Governor Sonko did, and the work that Governor Evans Kidero did in the first term, Mheshimiwa, who do you rank? Who do you rank at the top out of the three?
NMS. NMS, they don't talk, they do.
Okay, excellent.
Yes, I think a lot of this development that we've seen,
yes,
wouldn't have been possible without NMS.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would still be going in circles.
Yeah.
So that was NMS was God sent.
Yes.
And we are really happy and supportive of their efforts to, the whole of city, not only Eastleigh.
Yeah. Honorable Osman, we will definitely invite you again for a whole discussion of NMS, because NMS is a big debate by itself, and we'll probably also invite General Badi to have a conversation with the both of you. Okay. And Mheshimiwa, as we close, in 2-3 sentences, talk to the people of Eastleigh, the traders, the people doing business in Eastleigh.
The people doing business in Eastleigh, I would say, so far you've been good. You're doing a good job. Continue doing the same. But I would still urge you not to throw the wrappings of the clothing that you sell to the streets. That every mall and every shop should organize themselves, have a bin, have anything that you collect your garbage together so that it can be collected. Right now, if you go to any mall at the front, especially the shops that are at the frontage, are dumping their wrappings and their garbage onto the streets. I would really urge you, please, to stop doing that and organize and clean in front of, even if you are not responsible, at least clean in front of your shop, so that we have a clean and clean environment. So and people when come to Eastleigh would be happy and would probably buy more goods from you. That is what my message to the Eastleigh traders.
Thank you so much. People of Eastleigh, heed the call from your leader. You've heard from him, so please, I urge you again, as he has just said, please, you need to implement that garbage collection that Honorable Osman has advised. We've come to the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us today and making time for this conversation. Please share your comments. What do you think about the discussion? People of Eastleigh, you can reach out to your leader on Twitter at Honorable Osman Ado, and also follow us on our social media handles at HorizonTV Kenya on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I have been your host for today, Abdulhakeem Kigen. And until next time, stay safe and keep it Horizon TV. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.